Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Washington National Cathedral. I'm Gary Hall, the Dean. And on behalf of Bishop Buddy, who is with us this evening, and everyone who regularly worships and works and volunteers and supports the cathedral, it is my pleasure to welcome you here to the opening reception for the CARAVAN program. We are partnering with CARAVAN for this 2014 exhibit, Amen, A Prayer for the World. And this is an interfaith effort. We know we're a Christian building, but we're a Christian building with a history of hosting interfaith efforts. And it's designed to build bridges of respect and understanding and sharing between the creeds and the cultures of the Middle East and the West. I've been dean here for just almost 2 years now, and one of my hopes for the cathedral upon coming here was and is that we could not only continue the ministry that had historically been part of our life, but that we would increasingly use the cathedral as a venue for the arts, as a place to explore the connection between art and spirituality, especially not only the musical arts, of which we have a strong tradition, but increasingly the visual and performing and literary arts. And so this event that we have tonight and the exhibit really speak very centrally to that vision of the cathedral as a kind of a civic space and an interfaith space where people from differing traditions can explore the holy and the way we human beings respond to the holy. I used to be an English teacher, a college and high school English teacher, and in my declining years, I am increasingly drawn to the poetry of Wallace Stevens, the great American poet who died in 1954. And one of his last poems that Stevens wrote was a poem called The Final Soliloquy of the Interior Paramour. And a couplet from that poem goes, we say that God and the imagination are one. How high that highest candle lights the dark. God and the imagination are one. One of the most profound ways in which we human beings respond to the holy and live out our response to the holy is in engaging the imagination. And I have to say, as a person who works in this building on a daily basis, to walk through here on Sundays and on weekdays and to see men and women and children transfixed by these figures and engaged by these figures and drawn into a contemplative and sometimes playful and celebrative place around these figures really has fulfilled my hopes for what this place can be as a venue for the arts. So if we say that God and the imagination are one, it is great to be part of an event that is helping that highest candle light the dark. I want to draw your attention to an upcoming program on September 17th. Our Center for Prayer and Pilgrimage is going to be offering an evening of what they call Visio Divina, or divine seeing, using the figures from the exhibit as a way into a contemplative appreciation of what they are about. And so everyone here is invited to that, and there is information on the back of your program. Many people and organizations have made this evening possible, and I hope that you will take a moment to see all the partners and the sponsors that are listed in your program. But I want to offer a special word of thanks to Ambassador Tawfiq and the Egyptian Embassy, as well as to Sira Arts, for their support of this wonderful reception this evening. Thank you, sir, so much. So I'm almost done. In tonight's brief program, Ambassador Tawfiq will offer a few words, and then we will hear from the co-curators of this exhibition, the Reverend Canon Paul Gordon Chandler, the president and founder of CARAVAN, and Dr. Reda Abdelrahman, noted Egyptian artist, and the one who sculpted these Amen forms. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the Ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt, the Honorable Mohammed M. Tawfiq.
The pyramids of Giza, high up on the plateau, overlooking the valley and meandering through the valley is the great river Nile. We've looked at those pyramids for millennia. We've gone inside the pyramids, we've seen the burial chambers there. And in one of those chambers, there's a very small crevice. In the past, people used to wonder what's in there. Today, we have the technology. So they have this tube and this very small camera, and they managed to push the tube inside the crevice all the way in to find out what was there. And what they discovered was there was very simply graffiti. Ahmos loves tea. The very essence of what people want has not changed through the millennia and does not change from culture to culture, from country to country. The spiritual values are the same for every religion. And having this exhibition here, I think, is the message that we need to spread. I've been to this great cathedral innumerable times. Some of the occasions were sad, some of the occasions were joyful. I remember in the late 80s in this cathedral, the great singer Joan Baez was singing. I remember more recently, President Obama's second inauguration was here. And there was a participation from a very large number of religious figures from different denominations. Religions I had no idea were being practiced in the United States. And here in the cathedral, I remember the Muslim azan was raised. And it is certainly something that somebody like me from a different cultural background would feel at home in this place of worship, would feel welcome. And I would like to thank the very reverend Hall and all those involved in this cathedral for the excellent work, for the excellent message that they are giving. And I would like to thank Reverend Chandler and Dr. Reda Abdurrahman. Really, this fantastic exhibit shows us how we all speak one language, the language of art. We all understand it, we all appreciate it. And the effort that has been put into this exhibition, the effort of everyone who has put it together, of my dear friend Sylvia Raghib, of the fantastic artists that have put so much work into this. I think this is a great message, and I appreciate very much the fact that all of you are here tonight to enjoy each other's company, to enjoy the arts, but most of all, to spread the message. When we see some of these terrible things happening in the world today, we just can't stand idly by. We have to come together to face it. Thank you all very much.
Good evening, and thank you, Ambassador Tawfiq, for those words. And on behalf of CARAVAN, I want to thank each of you for coming this evening. It's a tremendous privilege for us to have you here. And of course, we're most grateful to Ambassador Tawfiq of Egypt and National Cathedral for hosting us so generously and graciously this evening. And for CARAVAN, it's a special honor to actually be having an exhibition in this renowned sacred space. In the midst of the present turmoil and tension that's going on in the Middle East, and with the ever-growing chasm of misunderstanding that exists between the Middle East and the West, this 2014 CARAVAN exhibition of visual art has resulted in an unprecedented gathering of Arab artists and artists living in the West from Muslim, Christian, and Jewish backgrounds coming together to use art as a bridge both for interreligious purposes and intercultural. And with the theme, Amen, a Prayer for the World, this art initiative is an aspirational expression for both the people of the Middle East and the rest of the world. And these participating artists are making a really highly symbolic statement this evening through this exhibition that they are together praying for peace, respect for the other, and living and working together in harmony. The current conflict in the Middle East, which of course is very much in the news right now again, highlights that much work lies ahead toward finding ways that the cultures and the faiths of the Middle East and West can live peacefully together. Our day calls for a whole new kind of movement, not one of belief, nor of religious unity, but one that builds on what we hold in common. Hence, it is more critical than ever that critical demonstrations of dialogue, or creative demonstrations of dialogue be displayed. The vision for CARAVAN originated out of Egypt, often considered the mother of civilization. I lived there for the last 10 years until a year ago, August, working with the Episcopal Church of the rector of the International Church there that served the diplomatic and the business and the academic and the NGO communities. There, in what is considered to be by many the capital of the Middle East, we discovered that the arts can actually be one of the most effective ways or mediums to build bridges between the creeds and the cultures of the Middle East and West, and to enhance understanding, to bring about respect, to enable sharing, and to deepen friendship between them. For as the late Nobel Prize Egyptian novelist Naguib Mahfouz said, art is the language of the entire human personality. We discovered that the arts can serve as an indirect catalyst for diverse peoples to come together that would normally never come together. And therefore, art serves as a means to encourage new friendships to be made across religions and cultures. And so these exhibitions, like the one this evening, in a sense become encounter points, if you will, enabling new friendships. As the early 20th century Lebanese artist and writer Khalil Gibran, who profoundly bridged East and West through his art and his writings, said so beautifully, "Your neighbor is your other self dwelling behind a wall. In understanding, all walls fall down." And in this sense, CARAVAN is not so much about interfaith or intercultural dialogue, which of course is very in vogue right now, but it's about something much, much deeper, and that's interfaith friendships. And there are numerous stories and illustrations of strategic religious and intercultural initiatives and programs that actually come out of exhibitions like this. And in this regard, 6 years ago, in 2009, CARAVAN was started in Cairo, first just as a small interfaith arts festival, and some of the people here this evening actually were present then. And now CARAVAN, with the idea still of journeying together, caravanning together through the arts, has evolved into an interreligious arts NGO. And one of the flagship initiatives of CARAVAN is the Interfaith CARAVAN Exhibition of Visual Art, which is currently now being held here. It brings together many of the Middle East's premier and emerging artists with Western artists for peace building. And each year, this unique exhibition has garnered attention from the international press and the media, in the art world, attracting thousands of visitors. Last year, for example, many thousands of Middle Easterners and Westerners viewed the public art exhibition of life-size painted donkeys, symbolizing in both faith traditions of Christianity and Islam, peace and compassion, Jesus coming into Jerusalem on a donkey, Omar ibn al-Khattab, the second caliph, coming into Jerusalem on a donkey. It was first exhibited in Cairo, and then an estimated 120,000 people visited CARAVAN's exhibition in London of those donkeys at the renowned St. Paul's Cathedral. And the London exhibition was followed by a charity auction of the artwork led by a Sotheby's auctioneer for funding charities in the Middle East that assist the poor irrespective of creed. This year, which is actually the 6th CARAVAN exhibition of visual art, has 48 premier visual artists participating, 30 from Egypt and 18 from the West. From Egypt, they're from Christian and Muslim backgrounds, and the artists from the West are from Christian and Jewish faith backgrounds. The participating artists include a diverse range of contemporary artists. Some are veterans, and some are just rising stars. The exhibition opened first in Cairo, Egypt, on June 17 at the Museum of Modern Art, with the 30 Amen figures done by the Egyptian artist on display there. It was officially opened by the former Grand Mufti of Egypt, Sheikh Ali Goma, the President Bishop of the Episcopal Province of Jerusalem in the Middle East, the Right Reverend, or the Most Reverend Munir Hana Anis, and also the Ministry of Culture. These 30 forms, Amen forms from Egypt, were then traveled, they traveled to National Cathedral here to join with the 18 Amen forms coming from the West for a joint exhibition. And the artists coming from the West include those from the United States and France and the United Kingdom. They are here on exhibition all the way through October 6th. And then they will journey again. They'll caravan on to the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City, opening there on October 12 and running through November 23. The current plan is for the artwork that has not yet sold, and I'm going to make an announcement about that in a minute, to be auctioned by a Sotheby's auctioneer at a charity auction to raise funds for building a school in one of the poorest areas of Cairo through an Egyptian charity named Tawassol. Each of the 48 participating artists were given a life-size fiberglass figure in one of 4 forms of prayer that you've seen, to paint or decorate however they wished. And mind you, you never know what's going to come out. These are artists we're talking about. Symbolizing, of course, the commonality of prayer that unites us all and serves as this universal bridge. Now, the forms were sculpted by Dr. Raid Abdul Rahman, who I'm going to introduce in a moment, who's also a participating artist and the co-curator of the exhibition. Each of the 4 poses loosely references a common prayer pose from each of the main monotheistic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And the 4th reflects a revelation, the revelation and the peace and the wonderment that prayer can bring to all, and therefore symbolizing human diversity, community, and the many forms that prayer can take. The model for the sculptural form or the prayer form is Amun, the deity of ancient Thebes in the 11th dynasty, which would be the 21st century BC, who's considered, prior to Abraham, the first to develop religion toward monotheism. The 4 sculptural forms, therefore, communicate the modern essence of Amun, and all of them have the same face. It's the ancient face of Amun depicted. And in this exhibition, the historic figure of Amun is being associated with the Hebrew word Amen, or Amin in Arabic, which is an affirmation, of course, commonly used to conclude Christian, Muslim, and Jewish prayers or blessings. And with the theme Amen, a prayer for the world, the exhibition seeks to express that deep, fundamental human acknowledgement of hope and power in the universe for all people. And we strongly believe that it could not be timelier for this unique art initiative that is interreligious and intercultural at its core and promotes bridge building, peace, and the sectarian free world. I thought it very apropos to close with the words of another artist who I always previously quoted, Khalil Gibran from Lebanon, words that are very timely. I love you when you pray. I love you when you bow in the mosque, kneel in your temple, and pray in your church. For you and I are children of one religion, and it is the Spirit. Before introducing Dr. Raid Abdul-Rahman, who will share with us, I thought I would share two announcements and a few thank yous. The first announcement is that all of these Amen forms over there are for sale tonight and throughout the exhibition. On the brochure that you receive, that general program, it mentions how to purchase them if you're interested. And tonight, they will actually leave. Actually, at the back entrance table, there'll be people there where they were selling the catalogs. If you're interested actually in purchasing one this evening, and they'll explain to you how to do that. It's not only actually a unique opportunity to purchase a unique work of art, but also to help a charity in Egypt serving the poorest of the poor. Secondly, make sure, if at all possible, you acquire one of these catalogs, because not only are the photos in there, but also the bios of each artist and their statement respective of their figure. So it's something that actually is quite a profound piece of meditation as you go through it as well. And in that regard, the publishing of this catalog was enabled by the generosity of the United Methodist Church, which is actually a wonderful thing to say in the Episcopal Cathedral, isn't it? And I want a special thank you to Reverend Dr. Susan Henry Crow for making that, facilitating that and making that happen. We also had Jewish and Muslim donors contribute to the cost of the catalog as well. And the profits from the sales also go to the charity that is helping to build a school there in Cairo. Thank yous. We have to thank again Ambassador Tawfiq this evening and the Egyptian Embassy for generously hosting this evening. Secondly, I want to express our gratitude to the National Cathedral for allowing us to exhibit here. Special thank you to Dean Gary Hall, and a special thank you to Ruth Fry, the Director of Programs, and all of the Cathedral team and their outstanding organizational efforts, for which we're most grateful. Thirdly, I want to thank some important partners, because you need a lot of partners to make this kind of a thing work. I want to thank the British Council, who has supported Caravan right from its inception in 2009 in Cairo. I want to thank Sira Arts, and especially Ms. Sylvia Van Vliet, the co-founder, who is here in Washington. I want to thank the United Religions Initiative, URI, for their support and encouragement. And locally, I need to thank Irene Gavin of the Jewish Community Center of Northern Virginia for her wonderful assistance in helping us identify key artists to participate from this local area. I should also express our gratitude to the Diocese of Egypt. The Episcopal Bishop of Egypt, Bishop Munir Hana Anis, who's also the President Bishop of the Episcopal Church in the Middle East, wanted to be here this evening. But as he could not, he sent these words, and I promised to read them. They're actually quite good words. I'd like to thank and congratulate you for this year's Caravan exhibition. I admire very much the idea of having Amen as the theme of the exhibition. Amen means, Lord, respond to our prayer. And many of the wars and violence in today's world are done in the name of religion. The Amen exhibition is in fact a cry or a message from many artists from many different religious backgrounds saying, Lord, respond to our prayers and grant us peace. We are indeed different in what we believe, but we are all hungry for peace. And my hope and prayer is that the cry of this Caravan exhibition would reach every corner of the world so that the conscience of the international community may move towards peace. And fourthly, I need to, and most strategically, thank Sodik, which is a major real estate firm in Egypt who has pretty much sponsored the entire exhibition, both in Egypt and in the United States. And their generous sponsorship and their belief in using the arts for humanitarian purposes is deeply appreciated. And lastly, and most importantly, I need to thank all 48 participating artists. Of course, they would all love to be here, but they're from all over the world. But we have about 15 here tonight. So if you are a participating artist in this exhibition, could you please stand, or if you're already standing, raise your hand so we could see who you are and say thank you. And in that regard, I would like to invite the Egyptian artist, Dr. Reda Abdel-Rahman, who is co-curating this exhibition. He's the one who sculpted these Amen forms, all 4 of them. And he's also a participating artist. You'll see his form there to share a few words. I do want to point out that he has actually a solo. He's only in the States for a month and a half or 2 months. But he has a solo exhibition that opens next Tuesday, September 9 at 6 o'clock in the Sira Arts Gallery in Georgetown. And all of you are invited. It's something I promise you won't want to miss. And there's a flyer on the back table that gives you all the details to attend that. Would you please welcome with me Dr. Reda Abdel-Rahman.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, but I don't know. I have a bad luck to speak after 3 great like Paul and Mr. Ambassador. I don't know what I can say. Paul, he say everything about the project. Don't let me know what I can do, but I can thank everyone take a part from his time to come here to look for our work. We do everything with love. We want the world will be best with peace, without any problems. Only I want to thank the Cathedral here for this exhibition, and Mr. Paul and Mr. Ambassador, also the team of Sira Art, and my wife and my children to help me every time. Thank you.
It is so hard to look out at a cathedral full of people and not pass a collection plate, but I will refrain from that priestly impulse. I do want to say 2 really brief things. One of them is that I am personally grateful to everyone up on the stage, and especially to Paul Gordon Chandler for thinking to bring this to us, and to my colleague Ruth Fry, who, as our Director of Programs, really has begun to deepen and develop our Cathedral Arts Initiative. This is one of many things we're trying to do in these years, expressing the Cathedral Arts Initiative. Everyone on our staff and our chapter are deeply committed to and involved in it. But as a cathedral community, we need friends and allies and colleagues to help forward this work and to make this cathedral, to continue to make this cathedral a civic and cultural center for the city of Washington and for the nation. So if you would like to be involved with us and to partner with us on this work, I ask you to seek out Ruth or our Chief Development Officer here tonight, who is here, Rita Walters, and to become a partner with us in making the cathedral even more and more a center for the arts in the nation's capital. Finally, we're open 7 days a week. Please tell your friends to come and experience this wonderful art exhibit. It's up until October, what, 8th? October 6th. We're up through October 6th, and please come often and enjoy not only this exhibit, but our grounds and our building. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight, and thanks again to the 3 of you.